Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of August. We have hit the hump day. So, hope everybody had a great trading day yesterday. For those of you new to the channel, do me a favor, click that little subscribe button down below so that you get the updates as they become available. What we're going to do today is what we do each and every day on the Daily Market Commentary. We're going to review yesterday's market activity, identifying potential trading points from an educational perspective of breakouts as well as reversals. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So starting with the S&P. Now, yesterday we had a level that I anticipated us to get a little bit of a bounce. I thought that we would have a little bounce off of this 15-minute level right here. I felt like this was a good opportunity for somebody if they were so inclined. You've got a level. It was a tiny little level, right? 1.5 points, very small risk if you wanted to get long as price came down to here. Now, price did come down to here. Matter of fact, blew right through it. So hits your stop loss. Now, what caused price to come down to this area? Well, what caused price to come down to this area was the news from political news around President Trump's advisors and the guilty and all that stuff. Couple things about that. First of all, was anybody else other than me kind of interested that the market only sold off 0.5% on that? Now, it may sell off more today. There's a good chance, I think, that we'll sell off a bit more today. But we didn't fall off of the proverbial cliff, right? We took a little bit of a hit. Now, we'd had the long set up in the S&P because the S&P was our stronger performing market. Well, the short was set up in the Nasdaq. So take a look at our Nasdaq. So yesterday we had a potential entry on the Nasdaq, and here was our Nasdaq entry as price entered into the position and then came screaming down out of the level and hit our profit target. So for those of you that were able to join the Nasdaq ride, type it in the chat box, in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear if you were able to catch that Nasdaq trade. And we went over in the live trading room last week, for those of you that were there, exactly how to enter those contingent order trades. So nice job for those of you that were able to catch that move to the downside. Now, we've rallied back up off of this little bit of fair price value area, gained a little bit of traction and momentum as price has begun to come up off of this area. Don't know if it's going to hold, however. I don't have a whole lot to know what's going to happen today, especially with the FOMC meeting. That's Jackson Hole and FOMC thing that's coming eventually. So I'm going to leave that, that out because that's what's coming this week, and I'd be interested to hear what their statements are, as far as what they're going to say about the state of the economy, and tie that in with what's happening with the European rate announcement, the European monetary policy announcement that's coming out, as well as all the news coming out on the Brexit. As far as what's happening with that. So there's a lot of things from a global standpoint that are occurring that I'm gonna hold back on a little bit. So I'm not gonna force a trade. I'm gonna wait for the best opportunity to come to me. Crude oil. Let's talk about crude. So we had a little reversal set up in crude. And in crude, we hit the level and then moved down out of it and came to this opposing fair price value area. Now, last night at about, I think it was 9 o'clock, I tweeted out that we had a decent little move. It may be time to take your stop and lock in some profits or move it to break even. And this is why I did it, because we had come to an opposing level that we didn't quite get there, but enough that the trade had its day in the sun. So this level did work out if you followed the plan as prescribed. So now we're waiting on price. There's some areas up here. Now we've got a little potential reversal right through here. I'm not sure if this one is going to what this is going to do to my level, so I'm going to leave it alone at the moment. And then all of this noise in here, not sure that I love the time of day it was formed. So I'm actually going to hold off a little bit on crude oil till I get a better formed level. Looking at gold. So gold, we've actually got a real solid uptrend. Now, this uptrend is getting a little bit of weakening momentum as my swing highs are getting closer together, if you will. My swing lows are still on an upward trend, and then we have a couple of breakout trades set up in gold that just didn't wind up breaking out, which is okay. We're starting to see that there could be a bit of a reversal. Now, this was really our better reversal, which was way up here. We're working our way up into there. If you want to take a long in gold and kind of ride this trend, you may get a breakout opportunity or a retest back into this level here. I'm not sure if it's going to come all the way back to this level. Let's look at our currency markets. So in our bond markets again, also in a slight upward trend. Upward trend is losing a little bit of steam. I'm going to hold off on much with this once again with more FOMC talk that's going to happen coming out today. That report, by the way, if I'm going to slide over real quick the economic calendar. So, by the way, economic calendar can be found at tradersarmy.com. If you go under boot camp, underneath the boot camp, there's a command center, and in the command center is where you can find the economic calendar. This is the FOMC meeting that I'm paying attention to, which then comes back in with that Jackson Hole symposium. But the FOMC meeting is then followed by the ECB monetary policy meeting. So those two back to back are really what's driving a lot of what I'm talking about in regards to where we are, seeing some of these sideways, the slowing of momentum in the bonds and in the crude oil. It's all based on the dollar, and I think that there's a lot to be said for that. There's nothing wrong, by the way, with sitting on our hands. Now let's take a look at this Aussie trade. So looking at this Aussie trade, notice we had a level that was designed as a confirmation style entry. So price came into the level, and we then went through the level. Once you go through the level, that level is no longer valid. So we can't say that we enter on something like this, because this one is going to stop us out of the trade. Well, not stop us out, excuse me. It's going to cancel the trade before ever entering into the trade, because it blew right through, which is okay, right? That's why we have those styles of trades, and maybe missed out on a little bit of a move, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather miss out than enter a bad trade. On the euro, we're continuing our big march up. This was our breakout trade last week. I don't know if anybody caught that breakout trade and is still riding the wave, because this is our next potential reversal point way the heck up here. We did get a little bit of a reversal off of this here, but not a ton. And this level here is very, very, very weak. Canadian dollar, nothing in play here that we had any strong reversals on or any strong opinions on. British pound, Japanese yen. The British pound's gained a little bit of support off of some of the levels down in this region. We had a little buying opportunity here. Now, we did have a short opportunity right here. Now, once again, it's a dashed line, which means it's a confirmation entry. So we need price to come halfway into the level in order to activate the trade. But then it blew through the level, which means it cancels the trade, right? And that's why those confirmation entries are so important, because if it doesn't give me that confirmation entry, I don't enter into it. So look at the three confirmation entries we had set up. We had the Nasdaq trade, which entered and then moved the way it was expected to move. The Aussie trade, which was canceled before entry, and the Great British Pound, which was canceled before entry. So 2 out of 3 of the confirmation entries never met entry, and the one that did was for a profit. That's trade management, right? That's picking your spots and looking for the high probability. Japanese yen, a little bit of bounce off this area here, rallied up. I think now, if you haven't already taken some profits off the table, you certainly want to at this point. This level is still valid, and so I'm going to actually switch this one to a confirmation entry since it was already touched once, so it's more of a touch-and-go style of an entry. Now, copper, we hit the level, came down out of it, started to make a move, and blew right through it. So this one we've got to remove. No longer going to be valid. And then nat gas, we still have a level way up here to pay attention to. We could get a bit of a reversal down here. I don't know if it's going to get there today, but just keep that area in mind as well. So if you've got any questions about any of our trades that we had today, please feel free to reach out. Send me an email, chuck@iiefinancial.com. We got a live trading room tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Time for those of you that are members of TradersArmy.com. If you're not, go to TradersArmy.com so you can learn a little bit more. So thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.